parties, where everyone's needs are satisfied. It was a successful process, and as long as everything goes with what we agreed with last night with representatives from Synergy and Woodley Church and us as the neighborhood, we came up with the board came up with a vote of no opposition, and all parties are satisfied. So speaking as a stakeholder and representative of the neighborhood, we've come to a successful resolution. I appreciate all of that.
If you want to join our council.
Wally, would you like to say anything from Synergy? Right?
Sure. I don't know if you want me to pass out drawings and simulations for the project.
I have my copy.
I've got mine, but I just don't know if you want me to handle and it's what you got. It's hard to I got it. So, as Jerry and John mentioned, we've been going through this process for a while. We were approved at the ZA hearing. The approval was appealed. We've been meeting with the fund committee, the council, the appellant, and the people who opposed the project to, what John said, come to a mutual conclusion to get everybody happy. And from the meeting last night, the one remaining item that John had asked is if Verizon would amend their agreement with the church to state that they would not put any future co-locations on this pole. I hadn't had a chance to talk with Ron yet, but Verizon has agreed to that. So I'm publicly stating that here before everybody. As part of that, and by meeting all the concerns that were raised, we had asked for a letter of support, which I assume we'll be getting before the hearing. Some of the changes that we made was to move the model pine to the front part of the property away from the residents who were close to the project, as mentioned, as well as moving the equipment location closer to that new pine that's being placed. The new equipment shelter is being placed adjacent, just north of the existing chain link fence on this property. It's an 8-foot high CMU wall, so the equipment will be completely screened. Secondly, the community had a concern with the grass being dead and brown, and they really didn't want to see that. We originally came back and offered to plant landscaping, hide everything. That wasn't satisfactory, so we came back and we added a block wall, which is what was requested. So the block wall in the northeast, the northwest corner of the property, the chain link fence is replaced by a block wall. Yes.
I'm looking at the site plan, and I see a block wall across somebody else's property line or something.
No, that's the same property. It's all the church. This entire parcel that's on page A1 is all owned by the church.
Because it shows property line and it goes across the different part.
It's found in the same line as the existing fence.
I think it would say it's different, owned by the church, right?
If that is the case, then they're going to have to stay on the property. It'll just be a.
We've seen, it's either public property out there or property owned by the church, but there's an existing fence line that goes there.
I'm just looking where it says property line, and another property line.
I believe that's actually the right way.
Yeah.
It's replacing a formerly permitted block wall that came down during the earthquake.
Yeah, we're following the same line of the exit, the block wall was there previously.
When you say property line, is that,
We will have to stay on the property line, we cannot go outside the property line. It does appear on this that it looks like the property line is jagged enough,
yes,
and the wall would have to be square off. We would have to stay on the property line.
that's the legal requirement.
We have to stay on the property.
Are these addendums also required to be given public notice within 500 feet of what you propose?
We'll notice is given for the appeal hearing. The appeal hearing, the area planning commission will make a decision on either to deny the appeal or approve the appeal or deny the appeal with conditions. So that's basically what will happen. And that hearing is noticed by the city.
Well, if it is approved, would you then notify the neighbors within a 500-foot radius?
No, there's no city requirement to do that. The notification is for the hearing, which will go out. There's a notification for the appeal hearing.
Did you have something?
Yes, the pictures that they show of the pine trees are really pretty on this, but I have yet to see the actual cell tower look that pretty. What are they gonna do to make sure that they don't turn into Charlie Brown Christmas trees?
Yeah, I actually use that term all the time. Well, I don't think I started it, but, there's, requirements and guidelines that I suggested before for conditions of approval. One is you add socks to the antennas, it helps it blend in with the foliage that's there. I would also recommend, having them paint the equipment on top of socking the antennas, it helps it blend in better. Also, I would suggest a condition of approval of 3.5 branches per foot. That is a very beefy, heavily dense branch tree to help it blend in and look appropriate.
Can a condition for approval be that they maintain it, and if they lose branches, they?
Absolutely, that's typically a standard requirement by the city, but it doesn't hurt for the neighborhood council to suggest that as a recommendation for condition of approval, which Verizon would support.
And we've already made the recommendation.
That one too?
Yeah.
Which one are you talking about, the three members?
Yeah.
Oh,
And that they
yeah, we
have to
didn't that
replace the
language in
ones
there.
that fall and blow off? That they also
Well,
are
there may
required
be a
to
maintenance, but
It
that's.
maintain it?
There's a typical condition of approval that requires maintenance there. And this was a kind of a sore subject going back on this property because the existing pine had fallen into disrepair, which has since been repaired since then.
Unfortunately, that speaks to how worthwhile the words and conditions are, because that tower had the same conditions that it had to be maintained, and the company didn't do it, and the city had trouble doing anything about it. So, you know, it's the best we can do, though, to have the conditions in there. And I should also mention that Wally's company, Synergy, is the company that we worked with several years ago on the project at De La Salle Church, and there was another one also, I forget which one that was, but they come in and made several recommendations, things that they thought we should ask for as conditions that would make the tower a more, better camouflage. And speaking personally, the one at De La Salle Church is, as far as cell towers go in this city, it's a pretty darn good looking one. It's one of the best looking ones that we have. We'd rather have no cell towers, but the reality is, we need them, we need cell phones, and the best we can do is get a well-engineered one to start off with, and have the maintenance requirements listed in the conditional use plan.
Point of information,
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
is this the same cell tower we were talking about when we had these 14 people come in here?
Yes.
Yes.
And
Yes.
have they been notified of these changes?
There's a representative
Yes.
right there.
Okay, that's what I'm asking. Everybody knows? All right.
And Jill Hagan, who was one of the people who came and spoke, she's not here, but she's communicating with me on email that this is, they're content with the deal as it
Well,
is.
just-
Point of information.
Just so I understand the process, what is the desired outcome at the appeal hearing? Is it to grant the appeal or to deny the appeal with all of these conditions in it? So basically, the project goes forward under these conditions.
When you appeal a project, you're appealing the decision, the approval itself. So if you come back and you approve the appeal, you're overturning the decision, no one's voiding the entire project. If they deny the appeal with attached conditions, they then have the ability to approve the new location within those conditions, as well as bestow their own conditions on the project as well as beyond the ZBA.
So our appropriate position would be,
To deny the appeal with.
or more generically say that we did say no opposition at the board meeting. I'm just kind of rethinking that. What we want to do is say that, we could say we have no opposition to the project with these conditions.
Yes, yes. but we cannot change what we voted on.
Well, we can't.
We can
can't
alter,
amend- we can't amend that.
We
but-
can amend that, but we would have to print that before the
Okay,
board.
so is everybody comfortable with the language we came up with in the board meeting, given the process in the committee meeting?
Yeah.
I believe so, except I'm asking for an actual position and not a no position statement. If you go over the no position, I think that's.
We didn't have to say no position, we said no opposition.
Okay.
No, we
We
don't,
had no
we don't
opposition.
oppose, we don't oppose the project so long as it has, so long as it's according to this site plan, and, I would think I would add the
And the
3.5
conditions
branches.
that, the conditions that we mutually agree on.
Well, I can attach the letter, we can attach the letter in the church, if there's no objection to that, we can attach that in with the, with that, so we have no objection, given this set of circumstances.
Is now an appropriate time to ask a quick question either of the board or of Wally regarding the appeal process? If,
We're not, we'll all learn.
yeah, if on the odd chance, the appellant, her appeal was denied, how would Synergy proceed? Would you proceed with what we have come up with now, or revert back to your original?
No, I mean, if they deny the project.
I don't know if I'm using the right.
Just to kind of clarify, if the area planning commission decides that they're not going to deny the project, okay, approve the project with conditions, they would in fact deny the actual appeal. But impose certain conditions on the previous zoning administrator's approval.
So that's what we're looking for, is basically an amendment to the prior appeal, so the process is that they deny the appeal while imposing these additional conditions.
That's basically what I want to know, is regardless of the ruling, and it proceeds with this current
Yeah.
plan,
Yeah.
whoever they rule in favor of.
Yeah, I
This
mean,
is how-
our area planning commission can come back and say, you know, we don't like it up front, we want it back. They're the ruling body. I don't think they'll do that, understanding the history, and I'll explain the history to them, and, you know, we've worked together on this for a cohesive.
Yeah.
So I think they're just gonna rubber stamp it.
my question was regarding Synergy or Verizon's stand on it, regardless of how the ruling is your intention to build it as the plans were submitted?
Yes.
To us.
This is for Jerry. Would our procedure be to rescind what the board did previously, where we said you had no opposition? And you just, parliamentarian-wise, I think that one person who voted yes last time can make a motion today to change it. And then you
Well,
have a second motion.
you're talking about a motion for reconsideration, this won't be a motion for
Not a
reconsideration.
motion, oh, okay.
So a rescinded amendment doesn't need to
Okay,
be
all right.
invoked by a person on the prevailing side.
Okay.
Oh, and I'll defer to Micah.
Correct.
Okay.
All right.
But yeah, thank you for the point, that would keep it all accurate. The one thing you might want to mention to Jill is just so she's clear on the wording, if the decision comes out from sounds like the most likely decision from them is to deny the appeal and apply these conditions. That's actually the result that you're looking for.
Right.
And let Jill know, so when she gets the notice, she doesn't see the word deny the appeal and go, oh God, what happened? So, one other comment I do want to make is, of all we've done a lot of things with cell towers. I've said before that Synergy's been a great partner in helping make better installations. You guys, the community, John, Lauren, and Pastor Ron, you've been wonderful in this. I haven't seen a group all work together this well, this completely in the time I've been on the council. You really accomplished a lot. And Synergy and Verizon made several concessions. We've had companies come in that just won't make concessions. They say, this is our right, and the heck with all of you. And Synergy's never done it. This is how these things should go. Comes out as a win-win for everybody. I want to thank you all very much for your participation in it.
Thanks to John and everybody else who worked with us.
Any public comment on this item? Okay, seeing none, our our motion, then our motion from committee, didn't have the rescind and amend piece on it, so I'm just gonna start over with a motion to rescind our prior position and amend it to have no opposition to this project, with, per the site plan of 11/20/14, I'm gonna add in and, with camouflage at, or the monopine at 3.5 branches per foot. At your recommendation, thank you.
Yeah, and to paint all, equipment and hardware installed on the tree. Because what happens is they have RRUs, they have T-arms, they've got TMAs, and they've got a bunch of other equipment, it's not just antennas they go on there. So you want all that, make sure that's painted to blend in, so there's no colors in your stick.
Okay, to paint all equipment and hardware on the tree to match. And the comment about the socks on the antenna is actually in the site plan, so we don't need to be redundant on that. So that's the motion, a second on that? Second by Eric. All right, any discussion? Okay. Any objections to this item? Seeing none, can I just do this by acclamation? There it is. No objections, thank you very much. Thank you, Molly, thank you, John, and Lauren, pass it on.
Thank you.
We'll really appreciate it. We'll come out and see the project when it's complete. Oh, okay, oh.
We all get free cell phone service.
I wish I got a cell phone service.
Get a free app.
Okay, just moving through I believe all of these other items, other than to report that all of these items, which you can read at your leisure, we are working on, and we have no action on them. But it's all stuff we're looking at.
All right, excellent.
We have a comment.
Just a reminder, if you want to bring it back up at the Planning Land Use Committee agenda, the item regarding the antenna height at the Encino Chatsworth location, you said was postponed to the next meeting, so
Right.
that's going to be discussed at the next meeting.
The Chats, let's see, Synergy does have another project coming up in Encino and Chatsworth, and that's been postponed to I believe it's January 28th, our next plum meeting.
One question about that, it seems they've changed it, now they want to add something else, they want to add a cage on top of whether.
Well, they always wanted to add a cage to camouflage the antennas that they wanted to put on the roof. Our objection was the roof is already 40 feet, which exceeds our height limit by 5 feet already, and then you're gonna add another 15 feet?
I just don't remember there being a cage on the earlier one that was discussed.
No, they always had coverage.
Well, we'll see it on.
We'll see it, they gotta bring it back to us.
I haven't seen new renderings.
Yeah, so I haven't seen, we haven't seen that.
Okay,
Brad.
thank you very much. Well done, and I want to give some plaudits to the Planning and Land Use Committee for working their way through this. I know it's challenging. Back to item 7, officers' reports. So item 3. Mr. Schillheim.
So, real quick, I do have a correction. There was a reallocation we voted on last month from temporary services, temp services to general outreach of $1,000. That's not reflected on the budget report, so I just wanted to make that point. So, the changes from last month are as follows. We paid online, Aaron Dandry was, website maintenance, November 2014, $250. General outreach, items we paid, with our Union Bank card, $175, to Main Kitchen for the December food for the meeting. Also, the invoice for survival, SOS survival product cost was $499.23, not $500.
Do you think this for the vote? Just
Yeah, sure, I was just taking a call.
Oh, okay, all right.
No, I'm not leaving.
Okay, thank you, sorry.
expenses, there's some union bank fees of $38. Temp services, $182.15 we paid online for the minutes writer for the month of November. $177.05 for the minutes writer paid online for December 2014. The public storage rent, we paid for $236 for November and December. Sorry, I'm being awful. So,
You're not alone, my friend.
yeah. So if you look at the monthly expenditure report, it's obviously presented differently, but with the same items. And then you can see at the bottom, the cash status analysis, the amount I mentioned earlier, what we have left in the bank. And they usually try to keep at least $1,000 in there. What we spent to date is $10,175.60. So the way you can reconcile both the reports is you just look at row G, that $12,000, you can see is the remaining balance of the grand total. Anyway, I'd like to make a motion to approve the monthly expenditure report and budget report as I've indicated. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Eric. Do you have any public comment? Do I have any discussion from the board? Question?
Well, we're gonna have to wait for Jeff to have a forum, I think.
Oh, you're right. No, Anthony. Well, I'll wait to actually vote.
Once you have a quorum, people leave, but you still have a quorum?
Yeah, not here, we know. At the chamber, yes, here.
You still have a quorum, don't you?
City council got in trouble for that. City council got in trouble for that.
Six, seven, eight, 9, 10, yeah. We can't count that officially. Oh my, yeah. Well,
Can
okay.
somebody go get him, or you want me to?
Yeah,
do it?
please.
Yeah,
Yes,
please.
Thank you. Thanks. Just kind of wait until it's right.
You're welcome. You're so bad. Oh, really?
Yeah, please. We need somebody.
And
Thanks, Jeff.
That's the one we covered.
No, no, hey, you're in a hurry. Okay.
We have a quorum.
okay, so do I have any discussion from the board? None. Okay, I'd like to put this to a vote. All those in favor, please raise your hand. All 11, unanimous. All those opposed, raise your hand. All those abstaining. Okay, passes 11-0. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brandon, appreciate it. I believe we went through everything, we skipped back and forth. We're gonna go to item 9, Roman 9, board member comments, announcements, agenda items. I'll start out in the field. Arthur?
No.
Thank you. Sally?
No.
Bonnie?
No, thank you.
Jeff? Eric? Jerry?
Very quick, for those, I know a lot of you know, but for those of you that don't, we lost a community member, Nikki Wheeler, during the holidays. Nikki and Dean were the owners of All Valley Trophy on Chatsworth, and Nikki was a board member on the chamber. They've been active in the Chamber of Commerce for many years. They provided all the trophies for pretty much all the events the chamber puts on and other community organizations here. So we're, of course, very sorry to hear of the loss. There is a memorial service tomorrow, or I'm sorry, not tomorrow, Saturday, 1 o'clock at Oakwood Cemetery. We've also there's been a memorial fund established through the Granada Hills Community Foundation, which is along beside the Chamber of Commerce. So if anyone would like to contribute towards expenses, then just go by the Chamber, Granada Hills Community Foundation. There's also an online funding site or memorial site at GoFundMe.org or GoFundMe.com. Just look up Nikki Wheeler. But we're very, very sad to hear that, and consider contributing to the fund.
Thank you, Jerry. Eric?
One thing, this board needs to become more involved, not just in board meetings and committee meetings. We need to have more people go to bank and CD 12 meetings that are held. Lately, myself, Jim Summers has started showing up. Rhea and I always attend the bank meetings. That's where you find out what's going on. That's why, generally I would give a bank report, but all we did at the last bank meeting was we went and they had various organizational meetings as far as how to do certain things, like they had the solar initiative. They had people there from DWP telling you if you were interested, how it works. They also had, what was it?
Actually, they had several things. They had, oh gosh, I never served me well. Special areas such as HPOZs and RFAs, they had a table on that. They also had a table on alcohol permits, that kind of thing. They had a table on that. They had planning one-on-one planning issues. They also, I think they had something on small lots.
Small lot subdivisions, they did, yeah.
And so they had separate tables and they had experts from the city or city officials, and it was really good. You had a lot of exchange.
Yeah. We have to, as a group, we have to start attending these meetings because we can't be insular. You can't judge something by just what you know. You have to find out what's going on in the whole city so you can make an informed opinion. I was really glad to see Jim there. Jim was there for some of the classes. They held it at CBS Studios here in Studio City. And as a group, we're the smallest neighborhood council that shows up. Everybody else's neighborhood council, they got 5, 6 people there. If I didn't show up at some of them, we wouldn't have anybody there. Mr. Kuzman is even starting to show up at those meetings. This is where the information on how the city runs is being dispersed, so you can give informed opinions. If we don't show up, we're making just isolated opinions about what's going on and what your opinion is and how we should do stuff. We got to be a lot more. And CD 12, Councilman Englander has, 3-4 times a year, he has CD 12 meetings for neighborhood councils. All the neighborhood councils in CD 12 come to him, listen, we outreach. They have a lot of speakers from public, what's some of the public groups that they have come and speak there. So you can get information. Yes?
Is there a schedule for these that like a website to go to?
You know, you can request information. You can go online to bank and just send in your email saying that you'd like to be notified.
Okay.
And they will tell you what the date and time. It's usually it's tonight. Their meeting started at 6:30 tonight, but that's why we changed our meetings usually to the first Thursday, so we could attend those meetings.
Are they normally the second Thursday?
Always the second Thursday. At the same location, which is at what's the hospital? Sherman Oaks Hospital. But anyway, we have to become more involved in neighborhood council activities. So we'll know what's going on, because I have a lot of stakeholders who contact me and ask me questions. I have to know how to answer them. I have to get the phone numbers of people and everything so I can inform them as to what they can do and who they can speak to for more informed information. And if we're not doing that, then we're dropping our fiduciary responsibility, yes?
Sorry, what time?
It's 6:30,
6:30 PM.
6:30 PM. Yeah.
Well said, Eric, thank you.
Well, wait a minute, let me finish.
I'm sorry, I thought you had.
No, I hadn't. He raised his hand, I was just answering his question. But we have to become a lot more intelligent and more informed about what's going on in the city, how it runs, the things we can do to be more informed. So when the stakeholders call you, and a lot of people do, I'm sure you've seen somebody write to the entire board asking questions about how do you do this, how do you do that. I know Jerry answers a lot of people's questions. I do from time to time. And I think Jim Summers, I think he's answered a number of questions because I've seen it come back in the emails back and forth to stakeholders. That's our job. That's why we're on the board. And if we're not doing that, then we're letting our stakeholders down. Anyway, so that's it. Oh, and Brad, you gotta get back to me when I email you something. I can't invite anybody because I don't do the agendas. You do the agendas.
Well, I told you to invite her.
I can't invite her without
Eric,
your
that's
permission.
fine. I said that.
But what I'm saying, I've been asking you for 5 months. For 5 months, you never got back to me once. No, I'm gonna take it up right now. Well, you're supposed to ask me, when I email you and ask you a question, I expect you to email me back up or down, right or left, just something, so I'll have something to go by.
Thank you, Eric. You're right, I should.
That's being presidential.
I'm not arguing with you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay. Mike?
Did everybody turn in their code of conduct items?
Well, that's good.
Because I'd like some people to reread that.
It is an interesting.
Should we read it?
Okay.
I read it, I think it sucks.
And
Thank you,
Your
Professor.
choice, counsel.
Outreach meeting next Wednesday, 7 o'clock. And also, I think we might wanna, I'll see if I can get a hold of them, but other neighborhood councils have pretty much all-encompassing visions, and they get sometimes visions of what their community should be. And they often get help from a local college or something. I'm gonna look into that and see what we can have here. And it's often related to planning and land use. And we have Cal State Northridge right here, which is actually the head library for California for the American Planners Association. So we'll see if we can have some type of overall look at that, and then I'll send it, and I'll see if I can also put it on the website.
Brandon?
Just one comment. All those that decided to refer the funding guidelines back to committee or voted down those guidelines, I expect to see at the next committee meeting.
Thank you.
The ones that voted it down and decided to refer it back to committee. Please.
Schedule a meeting.
Not on the phone, no.
All right. I just want to offer a couple things. Thank you. Code of conduct, if you have not signed it, I've been back and forth with Steve Box and a number of other people have done over the last week. I do return some of those calls, sorry. Please sign it. You can download it. I sent you the document. You can download it, sign it, fax it in, scan it, email it to Steve, email it to me, I'll email it in for you. It's something, it's a requirement that none has put upon us, and I understand your point, but like many things, we just need to work our way through.
What's the authority though to, after we've been elected, to make us sign what in effect is a new contract?
You know,
I can answer that because I've had conversations with our representative of the city council. And pretty much what they're saying is because we say so, because we have the authority to amend and make new rules, makes no sense to me, not from a constitutional point of view, I believe that it's treating us as a duly elected council as children, which is why I signed mine with a Crayola.
Quite artistically as well. So if you haven't, please do.
Crayon?
Which,
Was there a return address on that?
you just email it back. You can email it directly to Steve Fox or Tracy or anybody else.
Frankly, I think that their threat to throw we, as duly elected members, off council is way past what they can do. And I think what they're daring us to do is push it. And what I would personally like to see from all my fellow council members, which I know is not gonna happen, but if I had my choice, we would en masse refuse to sign it and see if they will be certified as entire neighborhood council, which they won't. Because at that point, I would be more than happy to not only be, lead plaintiff, but also counsel of record, challenge this thing.
Well, they can also withhold our funding.
Yeah.
What's that?
They can also withhold our funding.
That will not survive an injunction, and I would go in for a TRO on that easily.
And Jeff, I'm glad you're that confident.
Doesn't mean I'm right.
Anyway, that was the point I was trying to make. If you haven't signed it, please do, and it would make things go more smoothly. One thing I wanted to say, and Eric, I hope you understand this is heartfelt. I apologize for the last 3 months. I have had professional requirements that have kept me out of town for 3 months straight, and my family can tell you about it. But that's changed, so as far as getting back to the members, or being presidential, or going to Bonk, or what have you, that should be more doable in the future. But it was something I had to do, and given that, we get paid sandwiches here, and I've got a wife and 4 kids, I kind of had to do them, so. Yeah, undoubtedly. Anyway, so I apologize for that.
You don't need to.
Well,
Yeah, right.
I'm just clearing the air here.
You
I
get
was
paid
happy
for
to
that,
be
you don't
paid
get
for,
paid.
That's fine. But beyond that, what I wanted to say was I wanted to thank Jerry for stepping up there, doing a great job. And I wanted to thank the members for understanding and doing it as well. So having said that, since that was board member comments, announcements, and agenda items,
I'm just seeing them passing a mic around of the dedication of the trees, since we're all there and nobody knew who was in charge.
Oh, by the
They
way,
did a really good job. Very
does
good.
anybody know when we're gonna get our business cards?
yeah.
I saw it on your, yeah, I saw it on your report, but it said business card. It still don't have
That's
to-
one of the things I'll take out since I can. Okay. There's 3.
I moved to adjourn.
Okay, that's what that's what I was
You
going
mentioned,
for.
you mentioned that you, want to know where these came from.
Okay.
They were run through banks. And
Motion to adjourn, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All
I
opposed,
felt the same way you did.
abstained, thank you. See you next month.
Mr. Smith. Mr. Smith.
Yeah, that was the same thing. That was the same thing. And that means that we just don't know much. Yeah, I mean, Boozman was there, he's a stakeholder. And they gave all kind of information about solar, the DWP was there talking about solar, they were talking about different kinds of, all kinds of stuff that they talked about. In fact, they broke up into little individual subgroups, and they have representatives in there for explaining how certain things are done in the city and stuff like this. Yeah. Yeah, you can pick what group that you're interested in. Because just like only have so everybody has about 20 minutes to get into a group. This is the deal. Yeah. Yeah. And I'm telling everybody, I couldn't read. I couldn't report because you're trying to make a decision in a vacuum.
I'm ready. I'm ready. Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Well, that went really nice. I like that, yeah.
Exactly.
All right, take care.
That you're doing it for the people in your community, and you're only using what you know now. And that's, and in fact, that's what it is talking about the government affairs. Because and replace the council's power. Because council wants to come up with these council powers, they got the issue. And then they want to know how yeah, the issue comes by everything that happens in the council, there's a file. And so you can actually look at that file, see what it says.
They would have to say,
And although the neighborhood councils can have an opinion on it, but the opinions used to be only up and down, are you for this or against this? But now you can bring it up. But the thing about it is, in my, Ms. School said, well, any individual, I said, no, you can't do that. In fact, it clearly states that individual opinions cannot be done. It has to be vetted through the council. It has to be voted on legally. That's why I said, if you have another search committee, they can discuss it. How they should approach it. You say, I'm for this, if you change this, and we should say this, or then with the journey. And then they can come and discuss here, and then if they make final changes, before they move it, before they file the council. Now, only board members can file council.
Yes, it's.
Yeah, but anyway, it's the whole thing, and that's why, you know, I was saying, Linda Gravani of the Lake Balboa Neighborhood Council, she gives excellent PowerPoint presentations. And she'll come here, and they're for the stakeholders, everybody, not just for the council, not for the board, but for everybody. So in other words, you can look up something. And say, wow, well, you know, at the next meeting, when they bring this up, or you can say, I'd like to have an opinion on this council file, and you can ask the board if they would look at that council file and say, I have an opinion about that because I don't like the way the city council is talking about this. I think there's a problem, and I want my ear.